What was it like? What was your daily life like in this village?
Well, it got light pretty early, as I recall. Got up, had, I guess, not much of a breakfast eater, and there wasn't a whole lot there for breakfast, and certainly no ham and eggs or anything like that. I guess maybe a little piece of bread, and I really don't remember what I had much for breakfast. It must not have been very impressive. Anyway, and my right-hand man, who started out as a houseboy, who eventually turned into a head mason, so to speak, and I would go around and either visit well sites that were being cemented up or ones that were under construction, or we would talk to villagers of interest might be to see if there was an interest in constructing a well. And we found out very quickly that it wasn't so much a matter of, yes, we need a well because the women walk, 15 kilometers or so to get water one way, but the difference was the leadership in the village, which we found out, soon or not. And it wasn't necessarily the chief. Somebody had to be the labor organizer, because the women and children were the ones that collected the sand and the gravel when it came time to cement the well. And then the men are the ones that did the work as far as excavating the well and then mixing the concrete, the heavy work. And the second year when my operation really was going, we had 3 well sites being, it was 3, at least 2, if not 3, I think it was 3, well sites being cemented up at one time, which meant a lot of logistics. I had 3 people trained to work there to make sure the concrete was mixed properly, and they actually put it in there and tamped it down in the well and all that, make sure the reinforcing rod was done properly. So there was a lot of logistics. One well site was completed, we go to another one. I remember one time that we said that, all right, we'll be here next Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was, let's say, and they weren't ready. Maybe another week. I said, okay, folks, this one over here is ready to go, and we'll get back to you when we can, which is what happened. And sometimes, you just had to do it that way. Because the well season was only a certain length of time, and our time over there was limited, and resources were, we had them, the cement and everything, and the people were ready to go. So anyway, it didn't happen very often, but leadership was a major consideration in building a well or constructing a well. And we'd get on my mobilette, and right-hand man had either a bike or else was behind my mobilette and had our saddlebags there with our equipment, whatever we needed there. And would second year pretty much doing the rounds. The first 2 or 3 wells, I actually was in the well while we were digging it and constructing it. After that, it was more or less a manager to see that the things were where they were needed at the right time, especially the second year.
And well digging was such a labor-intensive, really back-breaking work. I mean, people carrying stone and sand for miles on their heads.
Right. Well, it depended. Some wells, the shallowest well that was constructed with plenty of water was 12 feet deep, 4 meters, and the deepest well was about 75 meters. And unfortunately, that well had been already dug by the villagers. It was a smaller diameter than what our moles accommodated, so we had to dig it out from the top, ream it out, so to speak, wider to fit our moles, and then dig that loose dirt out, and then dig further down. And unfortunately, we got down to granite, and they dug through almost, as I recall, a meter of chipping away until they got, it was not quite as hard as it was, further down, where they just couldn't, just like hitting on steel. Decided to go ahead and cement it up. The water capacity was not very good, but the problem was where they lived, they had built or had dug several wells of their own to this, depth, and found granite. But you don't just pick up the whole village and move somewhere else, because the tradition, everything else, ancestors buried there. So it ranged from very shallow and relatively easy to dig to relatively deep and hard. So it just depends. Gravel and sand from nearby stream beds and things. So that wasn't quite as bad distance. Actually, in this deepest well, one of the hardest things was that we couldn't use the water that was produced by the well because it wasn't quite enough And another problem, which I'll come to in a second. So the women had to go a distance to get the water to mix the concrete. The main problem was not only that it didn't produce as much water as we needed, was that after, I think, the first meter or the second meter, there was a big cave-in about halfway up the well, and we didn't want to take the time. Luckily, the mold had already been up, so that wasn't down in there. We didn't have to dig that out, but we didn't want to take the time to dig it all out to get the water that was there. We wanted to hurry and cement the thing up before any more cave-ins had occurred. There was just a little moist spot, like halfway down, that just gradually got moisture, and then just caved in. And it filled up about a whole meter, first meter, which is 1 meter depth by, I think it was 160 centimeters, or 150 meters, I guess, 1.5 meters interior. That was a lot of dirt. I wouldn't be glad nobody was in there, and that caved in overnight. So otherwise, we had the water supply right from the well.
Yeah, you had to dig to get to the water.
Right. Unlike in what Niger, which is the method we were taught, dig a meter, pour a meter. Here we dug it down in the water and then cemented from the bottom up.
20 years later, what do you remember the clearest about living for 2 years in Upper Volta?
No telephones, just a different way of life, I guess, as far as the big thing. People friendly. I like the country anyway, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, some people I know had trouble getting used to their culture shock when they arrived in Upper Volta. I had much more culture shock when I returned to the United States, by far. I just thoroughly enjoyed the experience. It wasn't, and I can say this honestly even now, even though maybe memory's faded a bit, it wasn't a day that I woke up and looked out and it was rainy or cold or whatever, as it might be here. The sun was going to shine, and I'm just glad to get started. I can't always say that here, but anyway, just enjoyed the way of life, I guess, in a broad sort of way. And the challenges, and obviously knowing that this, I wasn't going to be there for the rest of my life, or I guess I could if I wanted to. So that sort of led and caused a sense of, not say urgency, but a sense that I wanted to do some things in the short time that I was here and to make the best of that time.